Hi, this is Zach from Mercury Works. Today I'm going to show you the Mercury 6x12 120 back. This is a back for large format cameras, 4x5, that allows you to use 120 medium format film to shoot panoramic images. This is an awesome format to shoot and also a way to dramatically lower the cost of shooting large format. In general, it costs 4 times as much to shoot a 4x5 sheet of film as it does to shoot a 6x12 frame. In the past, though, the 6x12 backs have been prohibitively expensive. So we set out to create a much lower cost back made out of plastic. It turns out that this is not easy to do and still keep your film scratch-free, eliminate light leaks, and make it easy to use. An enormous amount of engineering went into this by Cici Espedes and myself, but the result is a really good back for half the price of the only other commercially available 6x12 back, the Chinese Dai back. And we've incorporated a number of important improvements over that particular back. This works on any large format camera that has a Graflock 4.5 back system. That includes Mercury Universal large format cameras, also the popular Intrepid camera, a really great low-cost 4x5 camera. It works on vintage 4x5 cameras and many, many, many more. Most modern 4x5 large format cameras take Graflock compatible backs and work with this. It's also compatible with the Mercury Stereo camera system, so you can shoot medium format stereo pairs with this back. And actually it's this back that dramatically decreases the cost of Mercury Stereo cameras. The major pros for this back in comparison to the metal ones are these. First, it's extremely light, less than a third of the weight of the other backs. This really makes a difference if you're traveling with it or carrying it handheld or hiking to a location to shoot. The weight difference is dramatic. Second, as I mentioned, it's a fraction of the price of any other back. Half the cost of a Dai back and a third of the cost of a Horseman back. Finally, it has an extended image size. The standard for 6x12 backs is 112mm width frame. We engineered this with a 5mm larger width. This makes the biggest difference when shooting medium format 3D as it gives you wider slides, but it can also be an advantage when shooting panoramas. The main limitation of the back is that you have to use a window to line up each frame, as I'll show you in a minute. It doesn't have an auto frame stop mechanism, like a Horseman back, for instance. It's just like the Dai back in that respect, using the window. Secondly, because it isn't made out of metal, it has a simplified latching method to keep it together. It's not quite as elegant as a metal back, but we engineered it with precision in mind. Different mechanisms keep the plastic from losing tolerance and affecting your image. Let me show you how to use it. To load or unload, you need to remove the insert from the shell. You'll notice that there are 2 small bolts, one on top and one on bottom. These are actually optional. If you don't want to deal with them, you can just remove them. However, they ensure that your back remains in tolerance while shooting, even if handled roughly. If you're using them, you remove them in order to load or unload. Swing these 2 arms inward, and then just pull the 2 halves of the back apart. This is the insert, and you load the film here. You don't need the shell for the moment. Okay, so you need your take-up spool on this side, where the knob is, and you're going to put your fresh roll film on this side. We'll take a new roll of 120, and all you need to do is you have to remove the spool holder, and this just pops right out. You can twist it to pop it out. You put your new fresh roll of film here, and as always you need the black side of the backing paper to go across your image area. So you just angle that in there and then pop this back in again. That's how you do that. You roll the backing paper around the roller, across the pressure plate, and then pop it into your take-up spool. Now, you'll notice that this only turns in one direction, so you can't possibly get this wrong, but you go in, insert it, roll it around, and over on the other side, if you give a little tension here, and then wind a little on, it'll be nice and tight. You want it nice and tight across the backing paper. Okay, and it should hold that tension because this knob can't turn the other direction. Once this is winding just fine and working, you just insert it back in to the shell. Push it together. These go back down. And again, I highly recommend that you do use these little bolts. They don't have to screw in tightly at all because they're not tightening in the direction of the bolt travel. They're holding it so that it can't slide open in any way at all. Once you have it loaded, you open this window, if you can see that, and then you wind, and again, it only winds in one direction, so this should be easy. You wind it, looking in there, until you see a little number 1 appear in the window. Remember that the number will actually appear upside down in the window. That's normal for all 6x12 backs on large format cameras. So don't be fooled by the fact that the number is upside down. That's normal, that's fine. Once you have the number 1 centered in your window, you just slide that closed, slide your little window closed, and you're ready to shoot. What you do is just, with the back on the camera, of course, just pull open your dark slide until you see the line, and that way you know it's fully open. You don't have to remove the dark slide all the way, and I recommend that you don't, especially when you're shooting in bright sunlight, but I'll mention that again in a minute. And basically, once you have that open, you expose your shot, close your dark slide, then just open the window again and advance again, this time until the number 3 appears in the window. Now remember, you're skipping every even number. And to remind you of that, there's a list here of the frame numbers that you're going to advance to for each frame. Like any 6x12 back, you will get 6 panoramic images or 6 stereo pairs on one roll of 120 film. And the cost savings will really add up quickly. You can use this whenever a shot looks like it would work well in panorama instead of a full 4x5 sheet of film. As with all 6x12 backs, in fact all large format backs that have dark slides, it's best not to remove the dark slide all the way, but only as far as you need to, which is we mark with a line. Really bright sun at the correct angle or can shoot right through that slot. And that's true of all backs, not just this one, of course. If you are going to be shooting for a while without removing the back or changing lenses, I'd recommend getting rid of the dark slide entirely and using a thin piece of 1/2 inch cloth gaffer tape. This is available on Amazon, inexpensive, and we designed this with a surface so that the tape will easily stick to it, and you can just tape up your back. Again, not necessary, but that way you don't have to worry about dark slides and sun at all. And again, you can do this on other backs, but it's sometimes hard to get the tape to go in exactly the right place. So that was another consideration we had here. And finally, this back, unlike all the metal backs, has a film memo holder, so you can tear the end flap off, of course, of your 120 little box of 120 film, and insert it here to remind you that film is loaded and what that film is. So we hope that this back provides a much better experience than the commonly available Dai back. It has a few advantages even over a Horseman back in terms of how light it is and easy to take with you. And also it's much, much, much cheaper. So if you have an Intrepid camera or a Mercury camera or any large format camera with a Graph-Lock back system, I think you can't go wrong with this back. I hope this will get you to take some great photos, and I hope you'll share those with us. Enjoy. Happy shooting.